I welcome you guys back to my next course over here, which is how to overcome pleasure. I need you to understand what pleasure is. I need you to understand it's full of lack. Realize that when you're lacking, you would look for anything outside of you, like drugs and sex with other people and communicating with other people in a way that they need to validate you, and you'll be lacking in most areas because you need pleasure. Realize anything that gives you dopamine. Realize food and drink gives you dopamine. I mean alcohol and cigarettes and cocaine and weed and tobacco, cigarettes and anything that's out there where you need to go attach yourself to a person, or you need to go kiss a person, or you need to go have sex with other people, and you have to go to brothels and go escorts and you have to call other people. Realize that is all called pleasure. I need you to understand what you do in this moment. I need you to understand to go inside. I need you to live in your emotions. I need you to use your mindset. I need you to realize that what's important is looking inside and forget the outside. I need you to understand that the world, in terms of the economy outside of you and the global economy outside of you and what's happening with politics and the governments around you, is total bullshit. And stay tuned, although you have to understand that what's important is never watch the news and never ever watch the radio and never listen to the radio and never listen to the news. I have Gerald Salente, who has a beautiful channel in YouTube, and what he does every single few days or so is he goes and does his video, and it ranges from 5 minutes to 30 minutes, and his videos are based on what goes around every single few days around the world in terms of headlines in the news. And then he elaborates on every single heading and where you must follow. You have to understand that since my biological dad watches the news 8 hours a day, I realize that I can watch with Salente once a week, and he can update me everything about what's going on with politics and government regulations and also global economy outside of me for 30 minutes a day. I realize it's beautiful, although it's a nice way to understand what's going on around you, and you have to understand it's really important to do so. I need you to understand though that it has everything to do with pleasure. I promise you I never need you to do pleasure. I need you to understand that what you need today is to overcome your ego, and your ego needs pleasure. Your ego needs the opposite sex, or your ego needs somebody else to make yourself feel better. I promise you, you don't need other people, you just need yourself. And what do you do today? You make sure to overcome your ego every single day of your life. You need to make sure that where your pleasure lies is where you must be. You must be at the point of your pleasure point. Where is that? I need you to understand where is that is inside of you. You have to be inside of you to overcome pleasure. You have to be inside of you to overcome lack. You have to stop focusing on other people and what they are doing, and you have to focus on yourself and what are you doing. I need you to understand that lack has everything to do with the outside world and looking outside more than inside. I need you to be more focused on your inner world and work on your inner world more than working on the outside world. I need you to understand that what's important is looking inside every single day. I need you to understand that it's spiritual to look inside. I need you to understand that what's spiritual is something that's growing. I'm a grower. I'm a spiritual person who is a divine being, because spirituality means oneness, and it means no ego, and it means Jesus Christ. I need you to understand that Jesus Christ never ever went for pleasure. I promise you, Jesus Christ never had sex, and Jesus Christ also delayed gratification, and Jesus Christ was teaching so much. I mean, Jesus Christ was growing only, and there's no time for pleasure, and there's no time for fun, and there's no time for orgies and brothels and escorts, because guess what? Jesus never done that. I promise you, what you have to understand is Jesus done it a better way, and the better way is Jesus looked inside, and Jesus was very meditative about his life, and Jesus fasted as much as he could. Jesus fasted as much as Jesus could. Fasted for food. Fasted away from food in a way that Jesus delayed food and drink and never ate meat and animals, because it may say in the Bible that Jesus had a feed with fish, or else that Jesus never ate fish, or else that Jesus may have had fish at the gathering where his disciples ate fish. Obviously, there's a difference. And you should understand that Jesus will never hurt this planet. Obviously, Jesus says in the Bible to make sure that everything is kinder throughout life. And to be kinder is to go away from pleasure. Because what pleasure does is destroy you. I mean, have you ever seen a man who's muscular and then after having a certain amount of sex with a woman, I mean, that person's lost the muscles and lost his life and lost his success. Because why? Because he was placing too much emphasis on having sex with other women. And you should understand that going woman to woman and man to man all your life is never ever going to make you happy. And you should understand that food alone will never make you happy. I promise you, this is what I do. I promise you, I limit my food to a certain amount of foods that I can eat on a daily basis. And now what my foods enable me to do is I have a certain regimen of foods. And it's about 10 foods that I can go to every single day. And what I do, I realize I just stick to that regimen. I realize what it is I do is I make sure that that regimen is going to help me move forward. And how does it make me move forward? I realize it helps me move forward because I do it, and it's because it's just a small minority of food. And I swap from one food to another, and from one food to another. Although will understand that it helps me to delay gratification, and it helps me to build muscle the most and gives me the most energy. So foods that give you the most energy helps you to procrastinate and jet lag in terms of food. You have to understand that when you have more energy, I promise you, when you have food that fills you up, realize that you're not going to eat for 8 hours. Although some people go into restaurants and they rely on restaurants, and they rely on fast food chains like McDonald's and KFC and Hungry Jack's and Big Burger King and the steakhouse, and they rely on other people to make them food. I promise you, if you're one of those people who relies on Pizza Hut and pizza and kebabs and the snap pack or whatever, in terms of the snap pack that you can get at the kebab shop, where you get garlic sauce and you get the barbecue sauce around the chips, and you get the chicken salt and you get the beef, you have the beef snack pack. I mean, if you rely on that to live your life, I promise you, you will never ever understand what health is. And you should understand that what health is today is making sure you stay away from the snack pack, and stay away from the kebabs, and stay away from the processed food, and stay away from all the food that is frozen that you can go and put in the microwave so that you can heat up your food. Realize that you stay away from the food that you can put in the microwave so that you can heat up your food. Realize that is never the way to make your own food. And if you're making your own food today, in terms of you have to go and cook it, in terms of fry it, and you have to boil it, and you have to also eat meat, and you have to eat animal protein, and you have supplements, and you grab yourself these pills that is going to give you a certain amount of money. I realize you grab and invest in those pills, and these pills that have a certain amount of minerals and vitamins to help your life grow. I realize that's not going to satisfy you. Actually, what satisfies you is being a vegan and being sober. Realize that what veganism does is it helps you to gain energy. You gain energy throughout life, and then once you gain energy, you gain your happiness too. Because what energy is right now is youthfulness, and it means to be younger. Realize those people who have more energy are looking younger over time, while those people who have no energy are the ones who are really looking older and more ugly. And what is the difference between them? Well, the difference between them is one is too much into pleasure, and the other one is too much into delayed gratification. I realize that those people who delay gratification are gonna feel younger and have more energy, while those people who never delay gratification and need gratification right now are going to be much more likely to be fat and ugly and have a poor lifestyle. And you need to understand that I'm all about delaying gratification like Jesus Christ, because that is how you solve all the diseases of the world. I mean, there's no magic pill that's going to help you to stop a heart attack. Do you understand? Because the magic pill really comes in the form of no magic pills. I mean, it just means discipline yourself. And when you discipline yourself, you'll be a vegan and you'll be sober today. I'm sober now, and I've been sober in terms of the illicit drugs for over 6 years. I mean, it's an incredible mark in my life. I mean, from the age of 16 to about 22, I was doing illicit drugs. I mean, now, around my age, which is 28, I'm number one with Jesus Christ. I realized that since I'm number one with Jesus Christ, I have 6 years of illicit drugs free and 2 years of, over 2 years of legal drugs. I got away from the caffeine, because guess what? The caffeine took away all my energy and took away my sleep and gave me insomnia and gave me bad breath, and it made my teeth orange, and it took away my money and my health, because it's addictive to have caffeine in your life. So I'm not run by caffeine, I'm not run by sugar. I got rid of all the soft drinks. I mean, Coca-Cola and Fanta and Sprite and Red Bulls, and there is so many of them in terms of cordial drinks, where you have the really sweetened cordial and then you put water inside of your glass and you put some cordial. I got rid of it. I got rid of all these sugary drinks, and the sugary drinks have natural flavors. I mean, sugary drinks never have natural flavors. I mean, they have colorings, and they actually put color in it, and they also put preservatives to make it be on the shelf. And what preservatives and colors do in terms of the soft drinks with white sugar is it causes cardiovascular disease, and it makes you fat, and it never helps you lose weight. I realized, wow, it takes away your money and it makes you look uglier over time. I realize now that those people who are much more likely to go and grab a Red Bull and coffee from Starbucks, and also who are living day to day with a cigarette and caffeine or soft drinks or need meat to survive, are the ones who are going to live a worse lifestyle than the ones who are vegan and away from the soft drinks and caffeine and are sober throughout life. Because those people who take legal drugs, and also drugs in terms of illegal ones, are much more to live a tougher lifestyle than an easier one. And now, if you need to live an easier lifestyle, you need to be tougher on yourself. And if you need to be tougher on yourself, you will live an easier lifestyle. Because the ones who are living a much tougher life are the ones making excuses. And how are they making excuses? I promise you, they're making excuses because they still do not believe what you have to say about sweetened soft drinks that is white sugar, that is no good for them. And they're still doing it. And they're still doing it, and they're still doing it. And guess what? They're arrogant about it, and they say, fuck off, because they don't believe you. And because they don't believe you, I promise you, down the track, in terms of 30 years, while drinking the soft drinks and drinking coffee and drinking and doing drugs and doing cigarettes, I promise you 30 years down the line, doing all of that, and part of that, you may be a person or a divine being in terms of life. You're a divine being. You may be just drinking caffeine. I promise you 30 years down the road, I promise you, you'll be addicted and you will not be living to the best of your potential, because guess what happens? Because all of that, you'll understand that it takes away your energy and it never helps you, because you need caffeine to survive the day. I mean, you need to wake up so that you can put a walnuts or one of those pans on the stove so you can make your coffee, because you need to boil your water. And by the time you boil your water, 30 minutes has passed, and you sat down to have a cigarette, and you have yourself soft drinks in the fridge and all of this, and it's all making you feel in your comfort zone. You understand? Because guess what? I never ever again will smoke cigarettes. I never again will do illegal drugs and legal drugs. I'll never have a pill to solve my problems. I used to be one of those people where I'll go to the hospital and I'll ask for endone pills, and I'd love those pills because they make me drugged. I mean, they give me this pain relief, and I have no pain. I mean, the pain is good for you. You need pain in life, although you never need to suffer. And now what makes you suffer is when you grab the pain pills and you put it inside your body. And then what happens I realize what happens in terms of that is it goes into your body and it breaks down, and you now have no control over your emotions. I mean, your emotions now are trying to break down the drugs and to free you from toxicity, because what pain relief medication does is it poisons you. Realize what sugary drinks and illegal drugs and legal drugs and any form of pills where you go into the pharmaceutical store to get a cream or pills or whatever is, it numbs you. You never need a cream, you never need soap to wash your hair, you never need shampoo, you never need chemicals in your hair. I stay away from it. And because I stay away from it, I stay away from the chemist warehouse. I stay away from Bunnings warehouse because I don't need kitchen hand stuff. I don't need curtains. I don't need refrigerators. I don't need furniture. I don't go to the furniture stores. I don't go to the furniture stores because I never plan to live in one area. I don't need a plasma screen TV. I don't go to the JB Hi-Fi to grab myself a plasma screen TV because it looks so nice. I don't care about that because that $2,000 I can go and see New Zealand. I can go to 3 areas of New Zealand with that money. And I can live in New Zealand for 1 month with $2,000. I mean, I'd rather go and visit Auckland and Christchurch and the other areas of New Zealand rather than have a plasma screen TV where I may have to stay in one area and work a 9-to-5 job to give money for bills. I never give money towards electricity. I realize that all I give money for is just accommodation, and the electricity comes with the accommodation. Do you understand? Because when I was living with my biological father, I realized that every few months the electricity bill comes in, and what happens is the heater, in terms of the month, in terms of the winter, has been on for a certain period of time, over 3 months, and the electricity bill comes in and it's $1,000. And now $1,000 is something, although it's not a lot of money, although it can be. You have to understand that if you cannot afford $1,000, I promise you, it feels like it's a lot of money. Although I understand that $1,000 is something, and it's not a lot of money because there is so much more money than $1,000. And you should understand that we need to understand that what you need in life is to have a higher number. So whatever amount that you say in life, I promise you is a bigger number. I promise you that the number is 1. I promise you the number 1 is the biggest number in life. And now, if you need to be number 1 in life, you make sure to pick yourself over the soft drinks, and pick yourself over the pizza, and pick yourself over the drugs. I realize you pick yourself over the drugs in terms of the illegal drugs and the illegal drugs in terms of the legal ones. I realize that you need to pick yourself over the legal drugs. You need to pick yourself over the illegal drugs. And what I mean is you cannot have one or the other. I mean, it's either you're drinking soft drinks because you love soft drinks more than yourself, or you're staying away from soft drinks because you love yourself more than the soft drinks, and that's why you're number 1. Because you cannot be number 1 and drink soft drinks. You cannot be number 1 and do drugs. You cannot be number 1 by having sex before marriage. And you should understand that sex before marriage means pleasure. And now, if you need to be one of those individuals where you're very much healthier and you have much more energy and you're feeling vibrant and you're feeling young and you're feeling amazing and confident and you're leading tens and thousands of people while public speaking and you have amazing communication skills and you brand yourself daily and you're traveling the world for free and you have money and you have a family and you're having that over sex before marriage. So You have to understand that you go sex before marriage, never. You never go sex before marriage, because guess what? You need to be that type of individual who understands when you delay gratification, you will be able to lead tens and thousands of people, and you will feel the best in your life, and you will feel amazing in your life, and you'll do something amazing. Because those people who are pinned down right now are the ones who are junkies and going around nightclubbing and doing drugs and listening to music, because they believe that is a lifestyle. I mean, they believe that waiting for the weekend and for the nightclubs to open so that they can have a beer with their co-workers and their friends, apparently, in a nightclub where they have to give $30 entry so that they can waste 8 hours chasing women so that they can go have a one-night stand, and also most of them will never even have a one-night stand on the night because the women are going with sexier guys, I promise you, and then you're left lonely because you drank alcohol and done drugs that day. And what do? You retaliate and you go towards pornography, and then you go and look at escorts and go towards brothels. And then what you do is you grab your car and then you have to drive 35 minutes or up to an hour to get to the brothel from the city. And then by the time you have sex, you have to give another 150 or up to 500 because maybe you need 2 women or 3 women. And then after that, I promise you another 3 hours has passed because you may have had up to 3 hours sex. And then now it's 9 o'clock in the morning and you are very tired and you're hungover, and now you're going to go sleep the whole day because you came back into your house at 9 o'clock in the morning. I mean, what kind of lifestyle is that? I mean, that's a stupid lifestyle, and I never need you to do that. I never need you to do that. I need you to understand it's not about that. I need you to understand that this is the type of lifestyle where you must live. You're a vegan. You're sober. You never go nightclubs. You never go escorts. You never go brothels. You follow Jesus. You delay gratification. You never do drugs. I mean, it's that simple. And now, I realize, since you do that, you now are more likely to overcome pleasure. And you're not chasing women. You're not chasing women. You're educating yourself daily. You're making sure that when you wake up, you have a business and you're traveling the world for free. I promise you, that's much more fulfilling and satisfying than going around with your fake friends, because they will never follow you when you're more successful, I promise you. And now, you have to understand that to overcome pleasure, you have to be inside yourself. You have to look inside. So I'm feeling amazing today because guess what? Earlier today, I was too much outside and I was worrying about what was happening outside. And because of that, I realized something. I recover really quickly, and I have this resilience where I can understand to use my emotions. And when I use my emotions, I just do some Tai Chi and I move my emotions around. And when I move my emotions, I realize when I move my emotions around, I start to develop more resilience, because the emotions sinks you into the moment. And now, when you're in your emotions and you're using your heart, you will always be sunk into this moment and you look inside. Otherwise, you use your emotions daily. And now, if you're fat and you're overweight or you're unhealthy, I realize it's because you have no energy. And because you have no energy, I realize it's because you're eating meat, and you're doing caffeine, and you're doing drugs. I realize you're chasing women and you're giving too much of your money toward women and to fuck them. You understand? I realize once you give 150 to fuck a beautiful woman for 20 minutes, I realize you've been drained from money and you work for that money 8 hours at a 9-to-5 job. You understand? I mean, is it worth it? I mean, is it worth fucking a woman for 20 minutes where she makes in 20 minutes what you make in 8 hours so that you can fuck a pussy, and she will not even give you the best service? I promise you that while you're fucking her, I promise you that she's going to put her hand close to you and push you away from her while you're fucking her. I mean, do you need that? You have to understand that I've went to escorts and I've had sex with women in prostitutes in terms of escorts, in brothels. I promise you, it's not the way to go. I don't care that these porn stars and people who are guys and men and women, I'm not bisexual, I'm not gay, although I speak for everybody here, I do it for something greater. Understand that if you're going around from man to man and woman to woman, and you understand that these porn stars are doing that, and you are trying to be those porn stars who have so much sex, I mean, you're never going to catch up. I promise you that you'll never ever go having sex with those women exactly that they did, and I promise you that's gonna kill you, because you're believing that you will go and get their woman and that you will get something like their woman. I mean, who cares about that? I mean, what's important is your health and energy now, and it's your mindset and leadership skills and quality of communication. I promise you that's much more worthy, and it's much more Jesus-like and God-like to go work on yourself more than chasing women in a brothel and chasing strippers. You never chase strippers. You never go to the strip club. I never need you there, because when you have a wife and you have a husband, I don't ever need you in a bachelor party or with women or with other men, because you understand that when you have a wife and kid, and you have kids and a wife or a husband, you'll understand to go and be around them more than anybody else, because nobody else cares for you. I care to give you information. I mean, if you write to me and I don't reply, I realize it's because you never gave me an opportunity. I only reply to those people who give me opportunities, such as they interview me, or they give me money. Do you understand? Or they got something of value that I can prosper from. I make sure I use my mindset in a daily basis to make sure that I never ever fall for lack or pleasure. Otherwise, when I lack, I go into my lack. I mean, what do I lack in life? I never swear in my questions, because when you swear in your questions, you become the swearing. And now never swear in your questions and never swear in your statements, because look for a nicer way. I promise you that's more than enough reason. You understand? You have to understand that you need to overcome lack and pleasure. Now, when you're looking for pleasure, you start masturbating, or you start fingering your pussy. Do you understand? Because guess what that does? I promise you, it's just for selfish pleasure, and it helps nobody else. I mean, selfish pleasure means you're doing it for pleasure, and when you're doing it for pleasure, you become a slave to pleasure, and you become a slave to the ego. I never need you to finger your asshole either. You understand? I never need you to go having sex with people unless you're married. And now when you're married, what you need to do, you only have sex when you're having a kid, because what's important is not the sex. I promise you, what's important is the communication skills. You understand? Because in a marriage, I promise you that what keeps a marriage is communication skills and not the sex. I promise you that nobody needs to be with a husband, or realize I'm not bisexual, I'm not gay, although nobody needs to be with the opposite sex who just likes to have sex, although he's a stupid prick, or a stupid asshole, or stupid bitch. I realize that although I never swear, I realize that I never use the words asshole and bitch, and I did use them, although that's my way of saying I take ownership, to say that nobody needs to be around negative people. I need you to understand that if you need to overcome pornography and masturbation and all these pleasure activities like nightclubbing, you're going to have to do it one step at a time, and it can be done. I've done it. I'm doing it now. I'm doing it every day, and I'm making sure that I'm in control of my mind. I mean, I make sure that whatever I do today is I delay my food as much as I can, although now, because I need to build my muscle, I also need to get the food I need. And that's it. I make sure, although, that I stick to my category of food and I still have high energy, and I make sure that I still stay away from the thousands of foods out there that I don't eat. I mean, I stay away from the franchises. I stay away from sugary drinks. I stay away from caffeine. I stay away from drugs and alcohol. I stay away from legal drugs. I stay away from meat because that's my way to delay gratification. I stay away from cocoa powder too because cocoa powder is addictive. I make sure that what I do today is going to be communication skills. And now, communication skills is the best way you can live life. And those people who can communicate can lead the world. And you should understand that you need to do something today that's going to be self-education and go and muster the courage to do 1-minute videos every single day. And then just keep doing 1-minute videos and then post 60 1-minute videos into 1 hour and make a series of 1-hour videos. And then just keep it up. And then for the first 8 hours, just do 1-minute videos. And then from that point, you're going to be able to do 10-minute videos. And then you're going to be able to muster the courage to get on the camera. And that's what I've done. I need you to understand that pleasure activities never helps you. And what pleasure is, or that's what pleasure is. I need you to understand that pleasure is, although guess what? I need you to understand that you need to overcome pleasure and lack. And now those people who lack are lacking because they look for too much pleasure. I mean, there's not enough pleasure to go around. Do you understand? And because you must limit yourself with pleasure, I promise you, that's the best way to do so. I never need you to go around pleasure activities. I never need you to be the person who has 3-4 women sitting on him or her. Do you understand? Because guess what? I promise you that's not going to satisfy you. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to go around the casino? You're going to go follow the crowd so you can have 4 women sitting on you? I mean, what are the chances of that? I mean, you have to give them money. You have to give them money because guess what? I promise you, women today will have sex with anybody for money. I promise you, I don't care how beautiful they are. I promise you that you give them some money, I promise you they have sex. I promise you they open their asshole. Do you understand? I promise you straight away that woman will have sex with you, and no matter how ugly you are. I promise you that's the world we live in. I promise you just give them some money and promise you that you can have sex with them. Although it's not about that. I have so many opportunities now to have sex with women. Although guess what? I say no. I promise you they rob you of money and they rob you of energy and they rob you of time the most. You understand? Because what's for free is the free way and go that way. You have to go the free way because what's for free will never scam you. I promise you what's for free is make sure that when you're going for free and you're going with people for free and they're your free friends, I promise you that nobody else is your friend. I promise you there is no other friend except for the ones who are growing you. And now most people are majoring in minor aspects of life, as Tony Robbins says. And why is that? I realize it's because they're going around people that've got no skills. I realize they're doing cleaning. I mean, they're cleaning the house and they're so arrogant. I mean, they're so arrogant. I mean, they're so ignorant about their life. I mean, they believe that cleaning a wall is much more important than losing weight. Do you understand? I have a biological mother that does that. I mean, she'd rather wash the dishes than lose weight. You understand? I need you to understand though, that I love my family. I love everybody. I grow everybody. I although call them out. I'm that type of person. I'll call you out on your bad habits. I need you to understand that I'm not embarrassing you. I realize it's what I say. I need you to understand though that I speak what I see, and now many people will never love that. I mean, when I say that your mum loves to wash the dishes more than she loves to lose weight, I realize that you may get offended by that. Although guess what? I realize it's what I see. You understand? And how do I know that? I don't know. I see that. I just see it because she's been doing it for 3 years. I realize she's not losing weight. I realize she has no clue how to do it, and I don't know how to do it, although I see how to do it. I've done it already. I realize that she's not making an effort. I realize that most people will get very preoccupied before I said and will judge me. I realize when you judge me, you shall be condemned in your mind and heart and everywhere in your soul. Because when you condemned yourself, I promise you what happens is you die. You start to become jealous of me. And it's because I'm more successful, and because I have better communication skills, and because I'm less arrogant. I'm not arrogant because I overcome pleasure every single day. I overcome the need to have pleasure because Jesus says the best way to be leadership quality is no pleasure. I mean, no fun activities. I mean, fun means comfort zone. I mean, what is fun today? I mean, fun is just sex. I mean, just go have sex with people. I mean, looking for sex is fun. And going to flirt with women and men is fun. And talking online and going on other sites to search for women is fun. And being a perverted person is fun. And going to the nightclub to listen to music is fun. And going to festivals to listen to music is fun. And going with the crowd is fun. And doing drugs and alcohol is fun. And listening to just music all day long is fun. I mean, get a life. I mean, what's not fun? Whereas what is not fun is this video. Whereas this is growth. Although growth is fun. Whereas what the most fun is in life is growth. And now what's considered fun is the ones that I said before, where people are doing drugs and they believe it's fun. Whereas that's not fun. Whereas that's toxic behavior. Whereas that's something that's dying. Whereas that's suffering. Whereas what's suffering is no growth. And now you have to go and stick to growth. And you have to go find the business leaders. And you have to start doing public speaking. And you have to start doing music production. You have to start learning self-education. You have to learn something. You have to be passionate about something. You have to make a business around your face. You have to put it on camera and in audio and in video and start promoting it everywhere. And where is everywhere? Whereas everywhere is just Instagram in terms of my view. Whereas my view means wisdom. I'll give you the wisdom here. Whereas I don't need YouTube. I don't need any other social media except for Instagram. I promise you, because I have 300 million followers in Instagram. I have an Instagram full of people who are going to follow me. I don't need other social medias. You can find me in one place, baby, because one is more enough. Whereas that is my way of life in terms of life. And now you need to understand that if you expand yourself in 10 social medias, I promise you it's going to be much more difficult to build an audience than on just one social media. Whereas that's why I picked Instagram. And now Instagram has everything. I realize I have IGTV, I have following, I have whatever I need. I realize that it's the way to go. And because I go the way in advertising now, I make sure to advertise my name, $10 a day. I give $10 a day and I gain 20 followers every single day. And I give money to gain followers. I just give money to gain followers because nobody else can see. Whereas anybody else can see how many followers I have, although they will also see that I give money for it. I understand that I can do it for free too, and I will do it for free. I will go on the street 10 hours a day, and I'll be in front of people's faces, because guess what? I realize that's what it takes to succeed. I realize that's what you need to invest in yourself. I realize you never take from people, you never steal, although you have to understand that you have conversations with people that is growing. You go and give love when you have it. You go and give love and you'll receive love. You never wait for your parents or woman or anybody to call you. You go to them when they have value only. I promise you that most people have never value. I promise you most people have no value. I never need you around those people. I don't even go to see in the messenger of my Facebook who's seen my message, because who's seen my message will reply. And those people who reply from the hundreds of people I send a message to are the ones who love me. And I realize, and the other ones who just seen my message, I promise you, they don't love me, because they never replied. I realize they never wrote a message. I wrote them a message. I promise you, they never wrote me a message. I promise you, I don't care about them. I move on. I realize now, since you understand that to overcome the pleasure of life is to lack no more. And when you never lack, you overcome the pleasure and you overcome the ego every single day, because that's what's in your life right now what you must understand, that you must overcome the ego and pleasure and lack, which is all the same. I promise you, the ego is called lack, and those people who lack too much are the ones who are egotistical too much. And now I understand that most women go for egotistical guys, and they go for them, and it's because they have money. Whereas they have money and they have a 9 to 5 job, and they're middle class people, and they straight away attach themselves to not. I realize those women and they attach themselves to men who are middle class. I mean, they just leap at them. I mean, they leap at the big muscles who are middle class people, and they stay middle class forever. And you should understand. And because of that, I realize that you deserve what you got. I understand though that when you never ever go for a man or a woman, I promise you, you will be salvational. I mean, you're going to get what you deserve. You're going to get the most, because those people who leech for other people are losing. I never need you to be a leech to go and stick your face with other people. I never need you to stick your face with other people. I need you to go where Jesus is. And you should understand that what you need to be doing daily is grow. I need you to grow daily, and I need you to understand to never ever go where comfort zone is. Whereas the comfort zone is never going to help you, because comfort zone is called pleasure and fun activities. And fun is majoring in minor aspects of life, where you may be cleaning the dishes, and you may be having sex, and you may be working a 9 to 5 job, because that's fun. Whereas that never grows you. I mean, what grows you in life is reading and public speaking and being on video and giving some educational content and making some courses, and it's never making money too. You're never making money, because making money is called fun. And now, making money in different ways, or I realize you have to make money where you're building your habits and health to become the best version of yourself every single day is called making money. I realize that most people get confused about what money is. I realize most people go to a 9 to 5 job and make some money. I realize that money is no good. I realize that money is good, although you never work for that money in a 9 to 5 job. I'm rich or better. And you should understand, the money that you work for is the wisdom. I promise you. Now, there are two types of people in terms of divinity. I realize they go to a 9 to 5 job to work for the money, and they save the money that they work for in a 9 to 5 job, and they put it in the bank. Otherwise, that's one aspect of life. And then the other aspect of life, who is richer than those people, in terms of those divine beings, are the divine beings that understand they never work for money. Otherwise, they work for wisdom, and they give wisdom in courses. Otherwise, one is saving money in a way that they're working on a 9 to 5 job and making that money and saving it. And the other one is saving the wisdom by giving it towards you and growing themselves from it. I promise you that those people who are growing themselves from their own wisdom and giving you the courses are the ones who are going to be the future, and they're going to be greater, and they're also going to give you more than anybody else. I promise you, self-education, as Gerald Salvente says, is the way of the 2021 trend and forever. I promise you, now it's 2020. I promise you, self-education is the best business in the world, and it's called Jesus business. I promise you, Jesus business is called self-education, and those people who understand self-education will understand Jesus. I promise you, most people doubt me. I promise you, they doubt me so much that because I live with them, and because I eat with them, and because I was around their school, and because I was around with them in a crew, I promise you, that's why they doubt me. I mean, they think they know me or something. I mean, they think they know every aspect of my cells in life. I realize they think nothing of me. I mean, they think nothing special of me. I promise you, although, I give them more than their mothers and dads. I give them more information to make them millionaires and billionaires than all of their family and friends out there. I give from my heart and soul, and now those people who learn from me are the ones who are much more likely to succeed moving forward, because I succeed, I promise you. And now I was that type of guy where I was so jealous of people. or so jealous because they have the woman, and the woman always go for them, and the woman always go for these guys because they have money, and that person has a car, so she goes with him. And those women who are so stupid to even do that because they choose money over a heart, I realize that I never care about them. I mean, they rather choose muscle, who isn't. I realize they rather choose muscle from a man who has muscles over a guy who's smaller, or else who has a bigger heart. I rather understand that. I realize that having a bigger heart is much more than muscle. Do you understand? I realize I have no problems in life. I stay away from problems, and most people who do pleasures in life have so many problems. I mean, they're so weak, and they're so intimidated, and they're so afraid of life because it's too much in their ego. And now the ego makes you afraid. And the more pleasure you do and pleasure activities you do, I promise you, the more you fall into fear, and the more you get weak because the woman have taken your money and the man has just wasted your time because all they need from you is sex. I realize that when you fall into that trap, you understand that you chased it in the first place. I mean, why did you chase sex? I realize, why did you chase sex in the first place? I mean, you robbed yourself. I mean, it's not their fault. I mean, it's nobody's fault. I mean, stop chasing sex and stop going to brothels and strippers because they don't care about you. I mean, they care about the money you're shining. I mean, is that love? I promise you, what is love? I promise you, love is the ability where a man or woman will come to your house to grow you. I mean, they'll give you knowledge and material to help you, and will make sure that you're taken care of as long as you are growing. Because if you're not growing, you never care in the first place. And now when you're growing, you understand that the love that you two have is, let's share a message together to help other people grow. And now the more you two grow together and you understand the common law of growth, I promise you, the more you two can unite and become married, because those people who are dying and getting married are soon divorced. I promise you. I promise you that those people who are growing and have a formula to grow, I promise you they're rich and they're abundant and they're better than yesterday and they're the best versions. I promise you, now, what do you do? I realize, do you chase the pleasure and the alcohol and the sex and the drugs and the crowd who is worse than yesterday? Or do you go and be unique like Justin Bieber in terms of popularity, and Jennifer Lopez in terms of popularity, and Michael Jackson in terms of popularity, and Jesus in terms of popularity? Because you need to be better than yesterday. And now, most people are never better than yesterday. I understand that there are many famous people out there who are worse than yesterday. I mean, they're worse. I mean, there are fat people who are famous. I mean, that's not the way to live. I mean, you're fat and famous. I mean, wow. I mean, what kind of inspiration are you leaving on the table? I realize you're fat. I mean, lose some weight. I realize, although, that it's not rude. I'm realizing that it's honest. You lose some weight, please. I mean, you're too fat. I mean, you take up the whole cinema. You understand? I realize, although, that she doesn't know how to do that. I don't know either. I see how to do it. I see how to lose weight. I see he doesn't know. I realize, although, when I go up to him to help him, I realize a chihuahua. I realize they're chihuahuas, those fat people. I realize they're big chihuahuas. I realize they're very arrogant people. I realize when you say something about their weight, I realize they start to growl at you. You understand? I realize I stay away from them. I realize they may look nice. I mean, you just point out their flaws. I mean, they'll hate you forever. I'm not laughing at anybody. And you should understand that if you need fame, I never need you fat while you're famous. I promise you're going to be miserable. I have many people in terms of life who are famous and they're losing because they're fat and they're going to die at 50 and they're famous. I need you to understand that you never go committing suicide because you're fat. I never need you to commit suicide because of your life. I need you to have more hope and never give up. I need you to understand, I'll never give up. I promise you that every single time I say I will give up, I never give up. I'll never give up. I never need you to say that you'll give up. I need you to understand that you never give up. You deserve to live life. You deserve this life because guess what? You have one. You have a life right now. You have one life to live. You gave one in terms of life. You have one in life. I promise you that one must be you in Jesus Christ. You must understand that what you are today is no suicide. Because if you commit suicide, I promise you everybody else is going to be upset about it. I promise you nobody needs you dead. I promise you nobody needs you dead right now. I promise you the worst aspect of your life right now is what you think you know. And because you know it, I promise you it's because you never opened yourself to it. I need you to not know how to live life. I need you to not know anything about how to lose weight and how to live life greater. Because that way you'll find out. I need you to not know anymore. I need you to understand to go open your heart. And I need you to understand that life is worth living when you're growing. And all you need to do is read some more information and just live day by day and stop worrying about what's going to happen and start improving your life today. Start improving the skills around your life. And what are those skills? Start delaying gratification so that you never ever commit suicide. Because those people who commit suicide are much more likely to be the ones who are doing alcohol and drugs. I promise you, they're the ones who are mentally unhealthy. And they're the ones who are mentally ill and in mental health hospitals and in rehabs. And those people are much more likely to commit suicide. And also the ones who are diagnosed as schizophrenics, such as I was, and also bipolar, and they're giving them pain medication and medication that makes them fat so that they commit suicide. And a psychiatrist who just went 12 years to do a nice, beautiful master's degree because now he's making $100,000 to make people fat. I say, wow, you're a psychiatrist. Although you have to understand, I stay away from them. I'm my own psychiatrist in a way that I give you medication and pain relief through information. I never give you a pill to solve your problem. I never give you medication in your ass like I did, in terms of like they were giving it to me. And I realized, and it's nobody's fault. I'm not blaming anybody. Although the psychiatrist says, I'll give you an injection to help slow down your thoughts. Well, that's not the way. You never slow down thoughts. You never increase your thoughts. You write your thoughts down. You write everything down and you process it. You process every aspect of those thoughts that you have. And it's not your thoughts. Whereas your thoughts are somebody else's. Whereas what you need to do is you need to create more value in the world and you need to become a more valuable person. And the way to do that is delay gratification. And that's how you overcome the ego. You overcome the ego for being in the heart and living the heart and the emotions and start living in the moment. And when you're living in the moment, you live in the body and you live in your heart and you understand that you go to the roots of where your pleasure is. So if you are a porn addict, you go and you understand to go and see why exactly do you need to watch that. Just go and be so interested in your ability to watch porn. And why are you so interested to go and see this scenery? And what is so good about it? And what do you need about it? Why do you need to watch that guy having sex with someone that you never have sex with? You go and ask yourself, why do you need to masturbate to that person right now? Why do you have to do it right now? Why do you have to go and masturbate to porn right now? And what is it going to do for you right now? What issue do you have? Ask yourself. What issue do you have right now with just delaying gratification? And just ask yourself that. What issue do you have in this moment? I promise you have no issues. I promise you that Eckhart Tolle says you have no issues in the moment. So what do? You go to where the lack is and you ask yourself now, why do you need that cigarette? And why do you need that drug? And why do you need that person around you? Why do you need them around you? And what are you going to do about it? When you ask yourself, why do you need to have them around you now? You're going to understand to answer some questions. And when you answer some questions, you'll say that maybe that person's not right for you. And why do you need that person right there? Realize that there is no right and wrong in life, although you understand that you never be a right and a wrong person. I need you to always make sure that what you're doing in life in terms of pleasure, you ask yourself first, why do you need it before you do it? I mean, what is it going to solve for you? I mean, what is it? I mean, it's either loneliness. I mean, you're feeling lonely. I mean, you feel weak. You feel you've had a bad day. I mean, you're stressed out. I mean, you're angry. I mean, it's just relief. You understand? I mean, it's a way to toss the trash and to go forget the world, because that's what those people who live for the weekend do. I mean, from Monday to Friday, I mean, they forget everything. And on the weekend, I realize they believe that they are living in the moment now because they're with music and everything. And they're starting to believe that they enjoy life because now it's Friday and Saturday and they get to be free now. While they're doing drugs and they're slaves to drugs now. Do you understand? Because those people who live for the weekend are the ones who are drug addicts. And every time they do a drug, I realize that they believe that it's freedom to do so. I realize they say it's a free country. I realize they're drug addicts and they say it's a free country to be a drug addict. I realize, is that your reason to be a drug addict? You understand? I realize just because it's a free country, I realize it doesn't make you something to kill yourself now because it's a free country. Because it's a stupid way to live. And you should understand that those people who chase pleasure are the ones who are more likely to be poor throughout life. And you should understand that Bill Gates says that if you're born poor, it's nobody's fault. Or else if you live the next 73 years and more poor, or else it's your fault. Do you understand? Because I realize it's not going to be anybody's fault, although you understand that it's your fault because you never ever went about it in a better way and you never found out how to be richer. And you should understand that it's nobody's fault though. You just need to learn more. I never need you to blame yourself. I never need you to blame other people. I'm contradictory in life. I contradict everything I say because the whole point is to find a better way. And sometimes you have to go left and right to find the center. And the center is where you need to be. You need to center yourself and stop being right in life. I never need you to be right-minded. I never need you to be wrong-minded. I need you to be center stage. I need you to be in the spotlight. I need you to be inspirational. I need you to be a better version of yourself. And to be a better version of yourself, you need to be a leader. You need to be somebody who's serious about growing you. You need to be serious about growing yourself and you to understand that it's not about how many other people are having sex today. I don't care how many people. I don't care how many other people are having sex today. I mean, what I care about is no pleasure. I mean, when I say no pleasure, I never need to watch other people have sex. I mean, there's no pleasure in that. You understand? I mean, there's no pleasure in watching other people have sex. I mean, if you believe there is pleasure in other people having sex, you go and watch it and then you masturbate to it because you believe there is pleasure in watching other people have sex, and you'll finger your asshole and you'll finger your pussy because you believe that there is a pleasure activity there, and that's stupid of you. You understand? I mean, there's no pleasure in watching a dog fuck a woman. I mean, there's no pleasure in that. Whereas that when you believe there is no pleasure in that, you'll never go there. Whereas those people who love that say that they see pleasure in that, and they start to masturbate to the dog and horse fucking a woman, and the man fucking a donkey. Whereas they watch pleasure too much. Do you understand? Do you understand where it leads you? Whereas when you are having pleasure activities, you'll go and see a dog and then you'll flop out your dick or your pussy and the dog is going to lick you because you believe in pleasure. You understand? I promise you, people have done it. And you should understand that I and somebody who is much greater than that. And you should understand, you go and be something greater today and stop making pleasure run your life, because that's egotistical. Do you understand? I'm pretty sure where pleasure is ego. You stop the pleasure. I never need you to see the pleasure in masturbating. I promise you there's no pleasure in masturbating. I promise you there's no pleasure in pornography. I promise you there's no pleasure in chasing women, because they take away your time. I promise you that there's no pleasure in taking your time away and wasting it. I promise you there's no pleasure in chasing men and going nightclubbing. I promise you there's no pleasure there. I mean, you're going to listen to the music. I mean, you can get yourself beautiful headphones. You can pump your speaker in your accommodation. You can play your headphones and you can enjoy your own music, and you never have to listen to the DJ's music. I mean, if you're a music producer and you eventually have to go to the nightclub, I suggest you make some music first and stop going to the nightclubs for 5 years, and then make a set and make 12 tracks or 20 tracks and become popular from those 20 tracks and go and play them everywhere, although you're not going to be in the crowd anymore. And that's how you do it. You then go around and play tracks around your country first and become popular in your country, and then you make what you need from that, which is growth. You make growth. You don't make the money. You make the growth. You make the promotion. You make yourself a promotion. You make yourself a promotion. You get yourself a big attention span, which is you get more attention, you get more eyes on you, and that way people love you and they call your name and they say, we need this person at the festival. I mean, they need you at the festival. I mean, you're not a person, you're a divine being. You understand? Because when you go and make your name first, I realize it's much better than chasing men and women. I realize that there is no pleasure in going the ego way and going with toxic people. I promise you there's no pleasure there. I promise you that people who are too pleasure oriented love to be around people who are pleasure activities. I mean, they love pleasure and they go around anybody who loves pleasure, because that's how they connect. Whereas they connect through pleasure. I connect through delayed gratification, and I go around people who love to delay gratification. I mean, those are two aspects of life. And now, those people who love to delay gratification are the ones who are positive, and I go around those people. And those people who are negative love to go to the people who love to have sex, and they love ice cream, and they love some pizza, and they love to go to nightclubs to listen to music on the drug. Well, that's them, and that's their life. Although I'm the type of divine being who goes with millionaires and billionaires, and I go coach people and tens and thousands of people in front of the stage, and I'm center stage, and I have my name up in the heavens with Jesus' name, because that's something of interest. Otherwise, that's more interesting. I mean, that's no pleasure. I mean, that's just growth. I mean, that's something amazing. I mean, that's Jesus-like, and that's God-like. I mean, games. I mean, those people who play games at the Nick Cafe, I promise you they're too pleasure-oriented. I promise you they're playing video games, and they believe they have some kind of business. You have to understand that 1% of those gamers can create their own game. I mean, what are you going to do now? I mean, you create your own Super Mario game, and what are you going to do? I mean, how's it going to grow you now? I mean, it's not just about making games. I mean, you have to make your mindset better. You have to personally develop yourself and become the best version of yourself anyway, because if you make a Super Mario game that's much better than Nintendo, I mean, and you're fat, and you're 300 kilos, I promise you that it will never satisfy you. I mean, if you just make music and you're drinking beer on stage and you die at 28 like Avicii did, I promise you, is that the way? I promise you, Avicii is one of the best artists in the world in terms of music, and the guy can make music, although he died at 28. I mean, he went around drinking alcohol and everything while he was making music, and guess what? Or else he died from a liver disorder. Understand? I mean, do you need to die at 28? I mean, that's early. I love Avicii, although please learn from it. I promise you it's not about the music. I promise you it's not about just making music. Do you understand? I promise you many artists today are still going around and drinking alcohol and on the drugs cars. I mean, they're doing alcohol and drugs and cocaine before they even get up on the sets. And before they even start doing the 2-hour sets and 1-hour sets, I promise you they're snorting cocaine in the toilet. I promise you, is that a life? And you should understand that it's about being your best version and it's about increasing your name, because it's not enough to just make music. Otherwise, I'm a life coach, I'm a fashion model, I'm a music producer, I'm a vegan, I'm sober, I'm a motivational speaker. You understand? I'm a traveler. I mean, I'm making myself my best version. I'm my own legacy, and because I make sure to stay away from pleasure as much as I can, I do whatever I can today to make sure that my name is prosperous. And the way I do it is no pleasure today. I mean, no lack. I mean, stop lacking. You understand? I mean, where the pleasure activities are is where you're lacking. And the more you stop it, I realize the more you'll be rich and abundant, because you have no lack anymore and you have no problems and you're not leaking. You have to stop the leak. You have to switch off the tap. And to do that, you go no pleasure. I mean, cut off the masturbation, because in the Bible it says, thou shalt not do gratification. I mean, delay gratification, as the Bible says so. I promise you, Jesus never masturbated, so follow Jesus. You understand? I mean, if you don't follow Jesus, you'll never ever be successful, because Jesus is the epitome of delayed gratification, and if you don't follow Jesus, you don't know your life. I don't know my life, although guess what? I follow Jesus and I see my life. I promise you that those people who turn their back on Jesus and go the other way and go towards the crowd are the ones who are pleasure seekers. I don't need you to be a pleasure seeker in life. I need you to understand to go where Jesus is and go delay gratification and delay the marshmallow to get to later, because that later never comes. And that's the whole point of being more successful, because those people who delay gratification are able to do 1-hour videos and are able to do 3-hour videos and are able to do 3-hour videos in front of live people. I mean, that's the next level. I mean, I leveled it. I went from 1 hour, I went from 1 minute videos, I went to 1-hour videos. I mean, I kept it up. And then I went to 3-hour videos every day. I mean, now I leveled it again and I went to 3-hour videos in front of people now. You understand? I mean, how did I do it? I mean, I delayed pleasure, I delayed the crowd. I don't need to be around the crowd. I delayed the woman. I delayed communicating with people online. I delayed them. I learn on the go. I delay wasting my money. I delay giving money. I delay giving it. You understand? Because I save keep it more. I have more money when I save keep it. I delay giving it. I delay making this. I delay making the decision right away. I go and recap for 1 month about that decision before I even make it. I never do anything unplanned. Or else today I went to do a branding photo shoot and I did 3 photo shoots and the sun knocked me out. And I was supposed to go and do a 4th one, although I never planned to do that one. I said I don't care about that one. I planned to do these 3. And because I did these 3, I never do the unplanned one because I never planned for it. And now I came here and I said to myself, never again will I do 3 photo shoots in one day, even when it's in the same spot. Because the sun may be so hot and you may be doing 3 hours of photo shooting, although you may be doing 3 backgrounds where it may be up to 2 hours or 1 hour photo shoots in the hot sun that's 33 degrees. I mean, it's too hot. And what I've done is I made myself a discipline and I said 30 minutes max will I photo shoot myself on a daily basis. I mean, just 30 minutes. And also that's something new that I've done today. And also just 1 background. I mean, instead of doing 3 backgrounds, I'll do 1 background now. I don't care even if it's close by and next to one another. I just do 1 for 30 minutes and that's it, because I understand that I came here in my accommodation and I fell flat on my bed. I started getting negative because of the sun and how hot it was, and I had no water. I mean, that was no fun. I had to go and grab a tap because there was a tap nearby, thankfully. And I had to go open the tap and I had to put some water bottle. I had to put my water bottle there, and I understand that I bring no water with me. I bring a bottle of water where it's an empty bottle, and I forgot to fill it up. I fell flat on the bed, and I was so tired. I slept for 2 hours. I realized never again. I realized here in Darwin it's so hot. I realized although that now I'm better prepared. And those are the kind of disciplines I need you to understand, to do. I realize I make those kind of skills. I realize that's a skill where I understand that from now on. I realize I will be doing it in the future, which is in the moment. I'll be making sure that no matter what, that 30 minutes, I don't care whether it's raining or sunny, I'll go do my photo shoots when it's most common and when it makes common sense, because I never do my photo shoots in the night. I do my photo shoots in the daytime only, and that's my skill. I only do photo shoots in the day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. in Darwin. I made the 7 p.m. rule, which states I can be outdoors from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. because in Darwin, I realized the sun goes down at 7 p.m. and other places in Australia it goes down at 6 p.m. Whereas now I have a 7 p.m. rule, and in Germany, I promise you the sun goes down at 9 p.m. I realized from Germany, it's 9 p.m. rule. I realized from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. I realized although you have to be smart about your life, and you have to understand that pleasure is never going to get you anywhere. So delay gratification, please, and be that kind of divine being who understands Jesus Christ and to understand the Bible and go and follow Jesus more and more, because Jesus is your best leader today. And stop being so arrogant about Jesus, please. I mean, be kinder and go and learn about everybody who's valuable. I'll see you guys in the next video.